Spoiler alert! So this is the original race tractor spoiler, I guess. I mean, I whipped it off for the lightweightness, but I'm going to try and keep this, put it on the Diablo, make a repair, paint it black. It's just 2 screws that hold it on, so let's whip it off and have a look at what we can replace it with. Okay, so this is the spoiler we have to replace the OEM one. It's sort of S2000 replica kind of thing. So it's going to fit a bit like that. It's actually... no, it's bad. It doesn't fit well at all. It has really, really bad fitment, if I'm totally honest with you. Yeah. So it's effectively on, 2 screws are in place. The riv nuts, they don't like going in at angles, so we've had to kind of manipulate them, and that means manipulating the fiberglass, and the fiberglass tends to just break. So we will be adding some araldite once we're happy with the position, and then I think what we'll do is we'll have some double-sided neoprene, which you can get, and once we're all finished-ish, we'll have that glued down at the back there. It's basically just on this back lip, so it kind of pulls in here and then kicks up at the back. And that's just going to move around, that's no good. And we want all the downforce, obviously, pushing in on the car, so keep those rear wheels with it, need all the grip on the floor. So that's what's going to happen there, I think. I don't see any other way of it fitting, not as neatly as it is, so we're golden. I'm sure that is what it's designed to do. So what are we to do with the Lemoan? The Lemoan has sat here for some time. It doesn't run, it doesn't drive, it needs test. It's done about 3 miles since, well no, it's done the mileage on the road of the drive back from the MOT from last year. So, no, the year before lockdown. We were putting on the EDC16 to run the R80 pump, I think it is, from a Saab, if you recall back to last episode. Well, doesn't run, doesn't drive, so I've done the right thing and bought new wheels. Not those, you'll see them later. But first, let's get it running and driving. We're going to put the old pump back on, run it back on the old ECU, and get that to work, get it running and driving, ready for Pugfest. And maybe we'll do some cosmetic shiny things. Okay, so paintwork is looking pristine. So let's get to switching some bits around in here. Ooh. Oh, that looks great. Been looking for that rag. Oh, I've missed you. Okay, have to change out this R80, which we spent a lot of time changing in. Back for the R70 that was in here before. And get it running on the old software. And see what spiders and mice have eaten. Okay, so we've got pedal position sensors. The wiring is not tacked in yet, but we've got it plugged in the front. I'll show you that in a second. But just that we quickly test before we tidy up the wall, the wiring. Flat down. Perfect. So that's ideal. This is the setup I'd worked out before, so referred to that for pinning it. And we've fitted a nice little sealed plug down there, and then we'll just zip tie some wiring in. So that's good. And maybe now we can get rid of this hideous looking thing and this wire. Yes, let's do that. I'm sure that would look better, not just hanging around looking terrible in there. Let's get rid of it. Oh yes, more room for more boost. Yeah, we can put some more boost pipes down in there. Yeah, I could put like another turbo there now. Let's see if we get this mess to work now and pass an MOT. Yes. Maybe we'll just... yes. Let's spritz it up a little bit. Yes. Missing wheel bolts, rusty brakes, mouldy interior. Perfect. So I booked the next available MOT, which is in 2 hours. Which time I need to replace all the brakes, do a thorough check around, make sure nothing's obviously bad. I mean, it's done like 4 miles since last MOT, but like bulb might have gone, and make sure there's oil in it and fluids, and the lights all work, wipers work, and that should be about it, really. Cover up all the rust, paint over all the rusty brake pipes, just check that's okay, refurbished, and maybe clean the interior quickly. In the sunshine it'll dry nice and fast. I'll get the wet vac out, get my shorts on, and clean it in the sun. It'll dry enough time, get it over there, get it tested. That's the plan. Let's get these brakes. The nice new front discs on. Yeah, it's huge. 325, whatever they are. We put a little inner cover back on now as well. And on the rear side, we spent some time faffing with that rear cover. I did have save a set once from a 306. I can't remember what it was, on a beam or something I got. So I'd cleaned them up and I'd painted them, which was nice. There we go. So nice and shiny. So it takes some time because the threads hadn't been used on the back of this beam forever. So I had to tap them out on the end, and that was a bit of a faff. But they're in. So I'll do the same the other side, and then we'll clean the inside. We're doing okay. We're making progress. Nothing else found that's wrong either. And we've cleaned up the rear ABS sensor plugs because I've got an ABS fault that keeps coming up. I think it's the rear plugs. I'm hoping it is, because it won't talk to Planet. So anyway, let's get on with the other side. All right, looking good. Now I suppose clean up the interior, and it'd be nice to show you the new wheels. Well, that's mold free, looking nice and clean, ready for Mr. MOT man. But we had to cancel because the ABS light keeps coming on. I don't know why, but I best find out. Oh yeah. So we currently have a twin pass, which has its uses, but not anymore, as I want to run the pipework slightly different, which I'll show you in a bit. So we could order another one, or we could just take off the twin pass and make it a single pass. So I think that's what we'll do. We've taken that off. We just need to try and get the bypass out here, which actually wasn't a full bypass, but it was there. So we'll try and get that out now, somehow. There's a weld there, there's a weld there. And then we'll wash it out once we've cut the two ends, and then weld them up. And we'll cut a plate out of this end, so that this can go in. Sorry. So we'll mark that out, cut that plate out of there, and then move that plate onto there, weld that up, and then weld that onto there. Robert's your mother's brother. Right, we just finished up. Some of the welding's actually getting a bit better, and some of it's not. But you know, it's going to hold boost, that's for sure, and it does the job. So I'm happy. So this is obviously to help the cosmetics of the engine bay. Everything else that's never going to be seen, but it doesn't matter. It's necessary to move the fans behind the radiator to move this back so we can put a stock bumper on it. That's all the plan. A lot of work. It's fine. It's all good. Wash it out. Fit it. Boost. Bit of progress. This is cool enough now to touch, so it's not the surface of the sun. That's ideal. That still is the surface of the sun, so we've cut the piece that went down that way in half, essentially. Shortened it, twisted it, turned it, and now it's going to go that way. I'm going to get a flexy join there because I need a little bit more length, and it'd be good to have that little bit of flex. That would be just fine. And this wrap stuff, once you've committed to it, there's no going back. This stuff's horrible to come off, and yet it kind of peels off by itself. So I will have to redo that. I don't care so much about the pipe to the intercooler, but from the intercooler, right behind the radiator here, a little bit of gold wrap. Ooh, shiny. And there we go, everyone. So we've converted a twin pass into a single pass. A few hours taken, but the routing is much better now. We may redo when we do this. I mean, this whole area needs rubbing down and rust proofing and supports, putting back in places and supporting in other places, and maybe a little bit of extra airflow stuff. But this is all to get these intercooler nice and close to the condenser and the radiator. That helps airflow through them. It also enables us to fit the bumper without cutting all the trim and the grille. And we're going to then have to move the boost pipes as well to, one, facilitate that, but also to give us room here to put a fan. So we're going to put one big fan there, one of them. I'm going to try and get the small one like we used on the Mini, get a little one up in there as well, so we still have twin fans. That would be ideal. And then our cooling is nice and packaged. This is only made possible because this power steering pump setup thing going on here, so that looks cool. Quite happy with my welding, and yeah, so we're just two connections there. Robert's your mother's brother, and there's a better angle going in down to the bottom there as well. So that's all good. So that's where we'll leave it for now. We need to get on with the cosmetics of the car and try and make Pugfest. I'm really sorry if I don't. I'll be glad to see you if I do. Alright, with the bumper securely refitted, we can now see that when the front grille comes round. No trim. And this bit here was also trimmed, not anymore, so that's perfect. And we've just measured up, and we should have enough space up in there for a small fan, one of the little ones, and then we'll put a big one just to here in that little gap there. So there we go. That's a big job done. So basically we can fit the bumper when it's wrapped. We've wrapped the bonnet. We're now going to do the roof this evening, and I've started making inquiries locally about someone to help because I'm in way over my head. But anyway, she runs and drives at least. Well, sort of. It runs and it drives. I didn't say either of those, it does well. Moving on.